This is the Samsung Galaxy S10e. This 2-year-old phone was released in 2019. I have had this phone for 2 years now, and simply put, I have no regret about owning it. Hello and welcome to today's video, and today, I will talk about the S10e, and if you should get it in 2021. Compared to the new S21, you can say it is plain, but the design, for me, at least can still pass as a flagship quality design. It is small and compact, with thin bezels on all sides of the screen, thanks to the new hole punch display. More of that later. The color options are stunning. Mine is Prism White, which is a beautiful gradient finish. It kind of reminds me of the sky as the sun sets at times. You have Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and back with a metallic build. At the top, you have SIM and SD card slot. On the right, a fingerprint scanner fused with the lock button. Atom, one of the stereo speakers, a microphone, a Type-C charger, and the missed headphone jack. And on the left, volume rocker and a physical Bixby button. The compact design and flat display make it the most ergonomic of the S10 series. This may not be the best design, but I can say, it cannot disappoint. If I were to point out one problem with the display, it will be that it is a 60Hz display, which is low for today's standards of refresh rates on a phone, but iPhones exist, so, the display is 60Hz 1080p dynamic AMOLED panel with an HDR10 Plus certification, which is great for movies and anime. That combined with a contrast of 2 million to 1 gives it a wide range of bright whites and deeper blacks, perfect for horror movies. There is no notch. Instead, Samsung has gone for a hole punch display which they've named the Infinity O display. This is good because the camera is still there while the other sensors are embedded under the display, giving the phone a modern look. The phone has a 19:9 aspect ratio, nice for multitasking. And this has a built-in blue light filter to take out 42% of blue light, so it is nice for reading. Overall, this display is still great for today for anything, with the only downside being the low refresh rate. There are two cameras at the back. A 12-megapixel main with a dual aperture with OIS, and 16-megapixel ultra-wide with a 123-degree field of view, and the selfie is an 10-megapixel autofocus camera. Even with the lack of a telephoto lens, this is still the same system on the big brothers, the S10 and S10 Plus. The colors are beautifully detailed with a touch of more saturation compared to wind iPhones. And the colors are consistent in every scenario besides night photography. The video is outstanding. It can record up to 4K, 30, and 60 FPS on both front and rear, and HDR10 Plus for contrast and color. The stabilization is impressive considering that it was the first time they implemented this on a phone. Night photography is fine compared to the competition, but is good enough for evening shots. Still better than what is expected from such a small phone. Starting with the processor, you either get the Exynos 9820 or the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 chip. Whatever you get, you will almost get the same level of performance. Storage options are 128 or 256 GB of UFS 3.0 in 6 or 8 GB of LPDDR4X RAM. Either includes an SD card expansion of 512 GB. I have the 128 and 6 GB configuration, and even after 2 years, still surprises me in performance. It can handle Genshin Impact with high graphics at 50 FPS and PUBG at max setting. A confession is it can get hot to handle at times. The battery capacity is 3100 mAh. This is not big, yes, but if you are not a power-intensive user like me, it should last you a day on the charge. For me, on average, it lasts 7 hours. Included is a 15 watts charger. From 0%, 30 minutes is 50%, and an hour is about 70%. A full charge is 1 hour and 36 minutes. The phone is equipped with wireless charging at 12 watts, which charges it an hour more than cable charging. Lastly, it comes with wireless power share or reverse wireless charging to charge your earphones, a smartwatch, or a friend's phone with key wireless charging at about 5 watts. You have a stereo set of speakers, the bottom firing, and the earpiece speaker, which creates a nice field on immersion. The haptics of the phone is nice, but I have to say, in the small period I used the Note 10's haptic feedback, I prefer that of the Note 10 to the S10. I have lived with this phone for 2 years, and for more years to come. I have no regrets to this day. I can say that this is Samsung's no-compromise phone. What Samsung has envisioned this phone as the S10 series, it has lived on as the bridge between the old and new eras of technology. With the modern technology of the display to the design of a glossy iridescence finish, this phone is the best I could have wished, better than its bigger brothers, and certainly better than the S21, besides in performance. Even with many rivals like the Google Pixel 4 and the iPhone 11 or 12, I would still recommend this to anyone. Also, did you know that E in S10e stands for Essentials, which makes a lot of sense. This phone gives you what you to expect from it. If not, it exceeds those expectations. Honestly, this must be the best Samsung phone after the S7 Edge, and I would recommend this phone, even the rest of the S10 series. The S10 Plus being the best option. And to future-proof your phone, you can get the S10 5G, but you cannot go wrong with either. But what do you think? As an S10 user yourself, or a person looking for an old new flagship that is way too good for the price it comes at? Comment below after visiting the live bottom. That will be all for today. If you made it this far, consider subscribing and share to a friend.